Mr. Aurelio Tornero is the General Manager for Manufacturing at RNB Cosmetics, a fragrance and cosmetics company with more than 20% of market share in volume of the Spanish market. He also acted as CEO at RNB for 12 years. Prior to working with RNB, Aurelio accumulated some of his 30 years worth of business experience working with IBM, both in Spain and in New York, and Hasbro, the second largest toy company in the world, where he worked as Director of Manufacturing and Logistics. Finally, Aurelio holds degrees in Industrial Engineering, Integrated Computer Manufacturing, and a Master's in Business, and it is also worth noting that Aurelio is the proud father of 5 children.
No.
It's a real honor to be here, although we don't come from the academic part. We come from our real world, okay, from the business, if you can say so. So, okay, just as an introduction for you to understand what we are talking about, RNB was founded in 1989. Okay, we design, we develop, and we manufacture cosmetics and fragrances. We are roughly 24% of the market in volume in Spain, in volume, in units. Roughly, we are 496 people. 70% of them, 75% of them are women. And we are actually in manufacturing 5 days a week, three shifts. So 24 hours, 5 days. Okay, the thing is, what are we going to talk about? What I'm going to talk about is, the first one is our essence. I mean, we make fragrances, so it makes sense that we have an essence for that. The second one is why ethics in business. And remember, please, that we come from business. I mean, we come from a manufacturing place. And the third one is something that we are talking a lot about that, is the revolution of the small things, and you will understand that later. The first one is our essence. That's one of the fragrances that we are making in RNB, one of the fragrances we are selling. When you talk about business, we are always talking about a mission. I mean, everyone has a mission in business. It's the first one they teach you that you have to have, a mission, a vision, and then some values. Okay, that's the first lesson you learn. So when we go back to ethics, we're going to have something there. We're going to have a phrase. We're going to have a thought about that. A place where to go, where you can go back when you are somehow lost. And in ethics, what we say is that we are all the same in dignity, although we have a different responsibility within the factory. That thought is a key one. And on top of that, we are building everything else. But that's a key and fundamental thing. So when you're somehow lost in ethics in the company, you go back there and you try to solve the situation. I'm not saying we are perfect. We are very far from there. But at least you have a reference to go there. You have to be very careful, because being the same in dignity means a lot of things. I mean, it's not something that you put out there and that's easy to say. No, that means not only admitting that the other one has the same dignity that you have, but also you have to admit that the values you have are good values, are okay, are fine, but the values of the other have to be respected there. So it's not that easy as saying that. I mean, it's something that you have to live very thoughtfully, and it's really hard. You have to understand that. So sometimes when we're deciding something, and we are a little bit lost, we go back to square one, and we say, no, we are the same in dignity. You cannot act like that. Or we haven't acted as well as we did have to, because we are the same in dignity. So that's an important thought, because on top of that, we construct everything there. The second one, which is I want to talk to you about, is this one. Okay, it's not exactly something dealing with business, but the thing is why ethics in business. Okay, that's Mount Everest. And when they said, the first question was, why are you doing this? And to be honest, we didn't know the answer. That's why I said we are not coming from academic world. And it's coming because when George Mallory, which was the one which was trying to climb Mount Everest, he was asked, why do you go there? Why do you want to climb Mount Everest? And he didn't know what to say. I mean, it's so inside of me, I cannot explain that. It's very inside of me. And then he said, because it's there. So it's something, for me, that answer means it's showing, it's so much in my interior there. I mean, it's something that I know from the very beginning, it's something I cannot explain that, because it's in our real DNA of the company right now. So sometimes it's something, for me, saying because it's there, it's something like saying it's obvious. I mean, I cannot explain that because it's so basic. It's like, why do you breathe? I have to. I mean, I don't understand things if I don't do that kind of things. The other thing that arises when you're talking in ethics and business is the eternal question. Okay, is ethics profitable in business? Okay, and that's a fair question. The only thing is that for us it makes no sense. I mean, we are not looking for profitability. If we find it, great, because we are working in business and we are not naive. We want to get the money in the future. But that's not the correct question. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You don't love your children because that way they are going to be much better in the future. You love them, period. That's it. And maybe because you love them, most probably they will be better professionals in the future, whatever. But you're not loving them for that. You love them for what they are. You apply ethics in business because it's there. I'm afraid it's extremely simple for you, but it's simply because it's there. Sometimes it's very hard to say that, to explain all the things there. And the things that you are not looking for profitability is there because sometimes the action, a good action, is good per se. It's not good because you are getting something on that. You apply ethics because it's good per se. It's not good because you are getting more profitability when you're doing something like that. Okay? Remember that we come from business, so we are not naive. I mean, as I said, the Good Samaritan was a Good Samaritan because he had the money as well. I mean, he had the will to help, but he had the money as well to help. Yeah. So we are not naive. I mean, we're going to make money. We're going to keep the business for a long period of time, and it will to get there into 30 years, 40 years, centuries, whatever. We are not naive on that. We know what we are talking about. But somehow, if at the end you believe that you have to apply ethics, if you believe that you have to live ethics in business, if you don't live the way you think, at the end you end up thinking the way you live, and then that's a mess. And we're simply simple for that. I mean, if we live according to what we are, then we apply ethics and we go with there. The other question with that is also the measuring question. And remember, I'm an engineer, so I love to measure things and to put numbers to everything. But there was a guy that was not an engineer, and it was, the name was Albert Einstein. And he said something like, not everything that counts can be counted. Not everything that can be counted counts. So there are things that have to be done. There are things that are inside in your DNA, and you have to do them simply because it's there. So that's the funny thing about ethics. There's a difference with that when you are talking about ethics. It's not a trick. It's not a technique. You can learn that, that's for sure, and someone can guide you there, but it's not a trick. When in ethics you say that you have to treat everyone at the same level, they have the same dignity for everyone, what you are saying is that you have to believe in that. It's not a question of coming here and talking with everybody and saying hello to everybody because we are all equal. I have to talk with everyone. And I've been talking with my percentage of women, then I have to talk with my percentage of men, then I have to. No, it's not like that. You have to live that. You can learn that, but you have to live that. Ethics is not a toolbox that you have there and you can apply that whenever you have a problem for that. Ethics is a way of living. You cannot separate that. I think, I remember very much like, it's like maths. I mean, it's true that you have a math course for learning everything, but then you apply math in a lot of things, from biology to physics to whatever you have there. It's a way of living. You have to impregnate you in everything that you are making there. Okay, and then I come to the third point that we were going to talk, and it's the revolution of small things. Okay, the fact is we come from business again, and then at the end, when you're talking a lot of things there, yeah, that's fine. But we think about generalities, but we live in the details. Okay, that's fine, we've been talking now, but we have to do this work. Okay, it's nice talking and all those things. And there is a good saying that you have, which is, devil is in the details, which is funny. Because on the other side, devil may be in the details, which we have all experience for that, but God is also in the details. And by saying God, I mean good. Good is also in the details. Details matter. I mean, Don't throw God, don't throw good from those details. Those details are the difference between some things. And that's one of the things that we are questioning and we are going through in our factory. It's not the same thing to do things one way than the other, although it's a little detail. Okay? If you know that, the difference between ordinary thing and extraordinary things is that little extra, okay? That little thing that you have there. So we don't have workers, although sometimes we say that. We have people that are working with us, and that's important. That difference is very important for that. And when you have that, when you realize that you have people working with you and they have the same level of dignity that you have to think about that every day. And then that takes you for a lot of things there. That takes that you have to care for them. By caring, I mean, I'm not saying that because in Spanish it sounds pretty bad, but you have to love them. You have to take care of them. You have to care for them. That's good. You have to take care of them. You have to care them because that's the way you have to do things. It's simply because you can do that things. You have to do that things. You care about them. To care about someone is to wish the best thing for them as a whole structure of that. And once again, we are not naive. We know how hard it is in business to keep in business for that.
About 2 minutes left.
Okay. So we care about the people for that, and it's important for that. And one of the things that we have experienced is that it pays back. Okay, somehow you find out that you have things which you never thought you were going to have. We have gone through some crisis there, and I can tell you that the best thing to prevent a crisis is to fix it when it's not already there. I mean, you have to be prepared. You have to prepare your people for the crisis prior to the crisis coming. So one of the things that we made there, and we were very surprised for that, as an example, it was Saturday morning and the factory was completely closed. So I received a call from the security guard. You don't have here sprinklers, but if you know how sprinklers works, there is a capsule there that it melts, and then when there's a fire or something like that, and then the water becomes coming down, all the things, it's a mess. And in a factory, it's twice a mess. So I received a call on Saturday morning. There was nobody working there, so it took me like 15 minutes to get to the factory there. When I arrived to the factory, we had lots of people there working there to pick up all the water, to clean everything, because on Monday we had to open there. No one, and when I say no one, I mean no one from the managers, from the people, that was not organized. I mean, the first one who knew that started talking with the people. They started doing, they didn't do WhatsApp because there was not WhatsApp at that moment, but they started talking with each other, saying, come here because we need you for that. But the we need you was by the assembly line guys that they were there. I mean, it's not top management trying to organize everything. And that really touches your heart when you arrive there and you see everyone. And then you try to compensate that because then we fix everything on the mess and all those things, like 12 o'clock, something like that, 12, 1 o'clock, something like that. So it was time for a meal. And we said, OK, we invite you for a meal here, and we can have, no way, I have people at home, so I want to. So it's the gratitude of those kind of things which makes you remember that, OK, maybe we are not on the wrong path here. I mean, they are doing that, and that's why you need to go there. And in order to go there, one thing also for top management, for all the people that we are here for that, you also need to give 100% of that. I mean, there's no way you can hide your talents under stone. No way. If you are there and you are driving with ethics, that's a problem from ethics. It never stops. I mean, it's madness. If you go with ethics, you know you are never going to be fine with everything. There's always another thing that you can do, another step that you can take forward. So that's the basic things that I wanted to say. So if you want to change something, if you want to start with ethics, if you want to live ethics with that, it's not just a question of doing big things. Just starting by smiling when you encounter someone in the elevator or something like that, but smiling from the point of view that you care about them. Mm-hmm. Again, this is not a technique, this is not a trick. It's something that you have to live that. Okay? That was it.